There's a side of Rocket League that most players have never seen. Outside the playing surface, the developers of this game have been building the weird but detailed lore of this egg-filled world for over 10 years. And in this video, I'll be going through each map and arena to highlight at least one intriguing feature that you likely have never noticed, be it an Easter egg, a historical reference, or just a unique example of Rocket League world building. Now we're going to start our journey through the maps with free-to-play Season 9, released in December 2022, because in case you didn't notice, this video is a sequel. The Season 9 theme was Fire and Ice, highlighted by the corresponding Rocket Pass and Forbidden Temple variant appropriately called Fire and Ice. Honestly, this is an amazing looking environment, and it's really a shame it was only in the game for 3 months. During my exploration of the map, I was first drawn to the yellow-orange glowing door at the center, thinking surely there was a reason for such an obviously different color. But no, in this case, it was just a tease that led nowhere. So instead, the unique feature of the map I will focus on is the 2 dragons that take off each time a goal is scored. Probably one of the most unique goal-related map animations in the game, though this too is another tease, as their flight only lasts a few seconds before the kickoff resets. Kind of a miss by Psyonix here. Imagine how cool it would be if the dragons did a whole circuit of the field, or continued flying during the next kickoff. Actually, maybe we can make that happen. One of the mutators available in private matches is called Disable Goal Reset, which gets rid of goal explosions and replays, and instead just spawns the ball back at center. So now if I score, the ball comes back right away. And look at that, the dragon gets to complete his full flight. Though he doesn't keep flying or seem to come back to his starting point, so let's see what happens if we score again. Oh. Did I just kill him? Mr. Fire Dragon? Oh boy, none of you saw this. Let's move on. Season 10 took the Season 4 Deadeye Canyon map and reimagined it with grass and less eye-burning brightness. It also gave us a good example of how Rocket League map creators sometimes tell little stories between arena variants. In the original Deadeye Canyon, there's a cave with a campfire, an egg wearing sunglasses, and a tomato sitting on a rock. A small, smiling, innocent-looking tomato. Now switching over to the Oasis version, the same cave exists. But inside, you'll see our tomato friend sitting in the blue egg spot. Quite a bit larger, and still smiling. Next to him on the rock lies a dark, egg-shaped object, which to me looks like the charred remains of the blue egg, obviously having been cooked and eaten by the tomato. How this exactly happened is not clear, but it's interesting to think about. Though I am kind of disappointed that they didn't have the tomato wearing the sunglasses. June 2023 actually saw the release of a brand new map for Season 11, the colorful Estadio Vita. For this one, I wanted to point out the cat found on top of one of the buildings. Recently, Psyonix senior artist Adam Beckwith revealed that he's been letting his daughter hide this cat in some of the maps he's worked on. From what I can tell, this is its first appearance. So from here on, we'll be keeping an eye out for Noodles as we're exploring the rest of the maps. But before we move on, there's one more thing we need to look at. Behind some of the buildings near the field, there's a cake with a traffic cone surrounded by 10 candles. A search of the internet provides some theories, but no definite answer. Now myself, I thought this might be referencing Jared Cone, a longtime member of the dev team. The traffic cone topper has been connected to him in the past, as seen in this billboard found on Farmstead. So I decided to reach out to Adam Beckwith to see if he would help end the mystery. As it turned out, I was correct. This item is a tribute to Jared Cone, who left Epic around the time the map came out. The entire world is offline in the hacked version of Neo Tokyo, which now only briefly lights up after a goal is scored. Besides that feature, this really isn't much different than the original map, but I did think it's interesting that the spectators themselves seem to be hacked or distorted as well. Many eggs feature stripes of multiple colors, with some being stretched, or even having parts sheared off. For Season 13, Rocket League released 3 new maps. And when I say new, I want you to know I'm doing air quotes right now. Now, don't get me wrong, Manfield Dusk is a great looking map. But just like the OG version, there's not a single Easter egg or lore-related item to be found. Not even one of those Moai heads. Though they had done something similar with Deadeye Canyon Oasis, it was this update that marked the beginning of Psyonix focusing on grass-covered variants of their older maps. Now, though it does seem lazy, to be fair, this was something the community had been asking for. With Farmstead pitched, we got rid of the brown mud, but other than that, every egg and Easter egg is exactly the same as the original version, which was well covered in my first video. Moving on to Wasteland pitched, we have yet another grass reskin, though I did catch a few changes you might not have noticed. For example, this building no longer has a roof, obviously to help the grass grow properly. And also, these burning stacks along the sidelines are not as extreme in the pitched version. I know these aren't exciting finds, but Psyonix really hasn't given me much to work with here. Well, what's this? Aquadome with grass? What a surprise. Okay, at least in this case, Salty Shallows isn't just a reskin. This is a new location, in shallower water, and actually has some interesting features in the scenery. First of all, when you score a goal, the net blasts out bubbles. Which, now that I've said it out loud, I can see how it really doesn't hit that hard, especially after beginning this video with freaking dragons. Elsewhere in this map, you'll find the nameplate of the Jolly Psyonix, which was the wreck in the background of the original Aquadome, and of course was its own map way back in SARP Battle Cars. But what I think is the most interesting world-building part of Salty Shallows is that it's one of the few maps with visual proof that it's located directly next to another arena. This buoy and boat line up with the buoy and boat found on Salty Shores. And these posts are supposed to be the same Salty Shores pier. It's not perfect, but you have to appreciate the effort to connect the two locations. And this also helps us make a nice transition to Season 15's Salty Shores variant, Salty Fest, which, as you can see, is just Salty Shores, now with grass. Yep, unfortunately, this is another reskin, with nothing new added besides this party area at midfield. So for this one, my highlight is going to be the fact that they have a whole freaking skate park laid out in this new area, and only one egg is on a skateboard. How does that make any sense? With Season 16, we got a new map with 2 variants, Driftwood's Dawn and Driftwood's Night. We're going to start by exploring the Dawn version, heading down a partially lit path into the woods that eventually leads us to this building. On the bottom level, we'll find an old model of the Octane from SARP Battle Cars and a chainsaw hanging on the wall, while the upper story has a bedroom with an old school hockey mask on a hook. You'll understand why I'm pointing this out as we switch to the Night variant. The mask is now gone, and the chainsaw is missing as well. Back at the lake, we will find a single egg on the porch of this cabin, wearing the hockey mask. Now, this is obviously in reference to Jason from the Friday the 13th films. As for the chainsaw, well, I guess Psyonix probably decided depicting a psycho killer egg with a chainsaw was just a little too far for their game. Though for accuracy's sake, I must point out that Jason never uses a chainsaw in any of the films. We still have 4 maps left, so if you've enjoyed this video so far, I do invite you to hit that subscribe button so you can keep up with my irregular uploads. Free-to-play Season 17 brings us back once again to Neo Tokyo for its 3rd variant, Arcade. Now, I did like how they switched out the kickoff circles to be giant buttons, which is kind of a nice touch, but I think we should direct our attention to the buildings here. First, we have a callback to Psyonix's mobile game Arc Squadron. Then there's the Konami code, and there's the scoreboard that immortalizes some of Rocket League's first professional players, Kernovi and Gibbs from Team Cosmic Aftershock, and Mike Rules from Flipside Tactics. Now, there's been some questions as to whether other Rocket League alumni are being referenced on this board, but at least those 3 are pretty obvious. Futura Garden features something that no Rocket League map has ever had before: a scavenger hunt. Okay, well, maybe it's more of a duck hunt. In the pond alongside the stadium, we find a green duck with a pointing hand and the number 1. Now, if we head in the direction it points, we will find a second yellow duck. From here, we are guided by where each duck is facing, crisscrossing the pond from duck to duck. And after 8 ducks, we are directed out of the water towards a circular building where we find a rooftop pool and a 9th duck. But this is where the journey ends, as the duck finally points us towards the prize, a large golden duck statue. Big shout out to Pickled Melon for sharing this find with me, and Rubik's for helping with the footage in this section. According to a developer I spoke to about this, the 10 ducks and the golden statue were both slight hints about the next map that would be coming out. Rocket League celebrated 10 years with a special golden variant of an OG map, DFH Stadium. In this arena, you will find the walls lined with different versions of the Rocket League Shield logo. Now, at first I thought these might represent all the competitive seasons across the 10 years. But at the time of the map's release, there had been 33 different seasons. And after some further investigation, I found out these 24 Rocket League shields represent every time Psyonix has developed a custom logo. Now, sometimes this was for a new season, but other times it was for a special event, a DLC, or a new map. There's some real deep cuts here too, like this one from the Frosty Fest event of 2017, or a logo representing a single day in 2018, when Rocket League celebrated April Fools by making everyone's toppers gigantic. And yes, some of us still wore toppers back then. In a way, Boostfield Mall kinda reminds me of Neo Tokyo, with all its references and callbacks. But the difference is that while Neo Tokyo did a lot of world building when it came out in 2016, instead Boostfield got to draw on 10 years of already established Rocket League lore. This is evident when you go through the food court area and see that almost every item is already a Rocket League topper, wheel, or antenna. Additionally, pretty much every store is named after an actual person that has been involved in Rocket League in some way. As well, we have a reference to the Galleon map from SARP Battle Cars, and there's also a tease for a map that, at the time, hadn't been announced yet. But for my featured item, I think I'll keep it simple. In the Cat's Jams music store, we find Young Beckwith's Noodles. But this is only the second one in the video so far, so I'm not sure if I've missed any. Have you found Noodles in a map we've covered already? Let me know in the comments below. In December 2025, Rocket League launched a French-themed season and released a new map, Parc de Paris. Now, the most notable feature definitely has to be the Eiffel Tower, which lights up with the color of the team that scores. Besides that, the scenery is pretty incredible, but sadly, not much in the way of lore or Easter eggs. I did notice the manhole covers have a familiar design. In fact, I almost thought they might be made from a snow day puck. But the graphic is a little different. Now, I know no one asked, but this is what it would look like to sit in the top row of the Paris Stadium. And finally, to end this video, we have once again found Noodles, resting on a bench near the field. I hope you enjoyed this short run through of some of the more interesting features of Rocket League maps released since 2022. For all the previous maps, make sure you check out the first episode linked here.